Greetings viewers, EricTheCarGuy here, back again with another tool review video for you. Today I got something a little bit special. Today I have the new Encore from OTC, and it's a neat little capable tool that we'll do a nice little once around with and show you a little bit about. So it starts with this giant blow molded case. Now, in case you were wondering, it's made in USA with globally sourced parts. We often cover that in our reviews here. What you get in the box is you get the tool itself, which as you can see is much smaller than its case that it comes in. You get a little bit of paperwork, one that outlines what all the different things on the screen might be and also what all the different connections are. In addition to that, you get something that I strongly recommend you sign up for if you haven't signed up for it, but you get a 2-month free test drive of Identifix that goes with this tool. And we'll talk about that a little bit when we do the review of how this works in concert with this tool. In addition to that, you've got a warranty, also a parts list of what comes in the box, including the box. So we have AC adapter for plugging it into the wall and charging up the battery, USB connection for connecting to, I would assume, a PC, and we lastly have the cable that you use to hook up to the DLC. Now, to my knowledge, this tool only does OBD2, so it's only 96 and above, and some of the features actually work best on vehicles 2000 and above. So it works really well on later model vehicles, but on the older OBD2 vehicles, you might have to do a little more work. It's not that it doesn't work, it's just you might have to make a little more effort. And I'll show you what I'm talking about as we go here. Up here are all the connections. Here is where you would plug in the power adapter to charge the battery. Here's where we're going to plug in our DLC cable, and here we have an SD card. Now I've put this SD card in here. It does not come with an SD card, but you can use this to transfer data from the tool to another device or wherever you want. I just put it in there because I had one and I could. Also, you have a headphone jack and USB in and out. So that's basically it. It's an Android operating system, so basically what you're holding in your hands here is an Android tablet. So if you're familiar with using Android devices, it should be a fairly easy tool to familiarize yourself with. And plug in the cable. And finally, the unboxing. Now I will admit, I've been using this tool for a couple of weeks now to check it out. In fact, I just downloaded the latest operating system onto it. But check out the boot time on it. See how long it takes to boot up from the time I push the button. And there we go, we're now ready to work. So boot up time is fairly quick. So now let's go over to the vehicle, plug it in, and see what we can learn about the Encore from OTC. All right, well, plugging in any diagnostic tool is we look for the DLC connector and plug it in. So we'll start by doing that. Here we have a 2005 Toyota, is it 4Runner, Tacoma? 4Runner? I believe it's a 4Runner. Anyway, 2005 Toyota 4Runner. Finally got this DLC hooked up. Now I'm going to turn the vehicle on. And here's another thing about this tool. It needs to be connected to the internet, and I have a wireless connection that I'm going to use here in the shop. One of the ways to set that up, if you want to come down, we'll just go over the interface real quick of the tool, is we can go into settings and Wi-Fi. And we're already connected. As you can see up here, there's an icon that says we are, so we're able to do that. And then the 3 buttons at the bottom are your standard just buttons that you'd use in any Android operating system. If you want, you can see a list view or the home, which brings us back to here. And also I thought that was kind of cool that it gives you the temperature and the weather, which is kind of handy, especially if you're doing AC work. It's nice to know what the ambient temperature is, so that's really nice. Now, first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what vehicle we're working on. This is what I was talking about earlier, in that this will auto-detect the vehicle. Now, it won't work on all vehicles. It usually works on vehicles 2007 and up, and that has to do with OBD2 mandates and that type of thing. So many of the older vehicles might not come up when you do, say for instance, an auto-detect, which is what we'll do here. So we'll go into Vehicle Bay. There's my element, and let's see, enter new vehicle. start auto ID. So we'll see if it can tell us what it's talking to. And as I said, this is not the tool. This has more to do with the vehicle than the actual tool itself. Okay, key is on, engine's off. We definitely have that. So, well, it's still looking. As you can see, it's already stored my element from before. I had to manually enter that. My element's a 2004. As I said, you'll have more luck with the auto ID with vehicles that are 2007 and up, according to the literature that I read. And it may be that it's not able to detect this vehicle, so I'll try to exit out of there. Okay, once again, I'll go down into the vehicle bay. It pulls this up. I'm just going to enter a new vehicle. Still entering a new vehicle. I'm going to be honest, one of the things that I found about this tool is it is kind of slow. It's a capable tool, yes, but as far as its ability to pull things up, unfortunately, MRC must see, and that's another thing that it's been doing to me. It'll time out like this in the vehicle bay. Enter a new vehicle. We're getting somewhere. It is an 05. It is a Toyota. It is a 4Runner SR5. And it is the, I believe, V8, so 4.7. So even if it doesn't auto ID, it's not that difficult to get the information to pull up the vehicle that you're working on. Now you have all the information that you want to pull up. So we've got maintenance and test, engine transmission, air suspension, body control module. This is a bi-directional tool also. So, you know, if there are tests available that you can perform with the tool, they are available to you. We have a check engine light. I've actually bugged the vehicle so that we could pull up an actual code with this. Let's go in under engine and transmission. Yes, we've done that. And so now we have some more things available, and as you can see, the vehicle is set up over here. Engine transmission is what we have. Check engine light here, so we'll just start with that. Read DTCs. Ominously read DTCs. Now, it's not the tool that made the thunder, it's actually raining today. Oddly enough, it says no diagnostic trouble codes, which I'm rather perplexed by, since it definitely has a check engine light code, as you can see over here on the dash. I have that, and I have a TPMS that's also flashing, so I'm not really sure why I didn't find the DTC. Let's go back with it and see. All system DTC scan. I'm going to try that this time and see what that pulls up for me, because it also has a flashing TPMS light, which you do have capabilities with this tool. On some vehicles, that's the thing. You know, it just depends on what's available for it. So this will scan the DTCs for everything: the transmission, the engine, body codes, whatever's available, SRS codes, ABS codes, whatever's available, it's scanning for those codes right now. Maybe you want to go have a cup of coffee or something while we finish scanning. All right, what do we have here? Primary controller, engine transmission. It says no diagnostic trouble codes. With global, we have a PO305, which is cylinder 5 misfire detected. Finally, we get something there. ABS has no trouble codes. The tire pressure monitoring system, which we also have something for, comes up as transmitter identification number 3 not received, transmitter identification number 5 not received. So that may be an issue with sensors, hard to say. Airbag, we have a couple. We have a seatbelt buckle switch. Secondary AIR system, it either doesn't have it or had an error communicating with it. Looks like body control, no codes. Secondary controller immobilizer, it perhaps doesn't have those systems, or there was nothing available there. But it's nice to be able to push one button and have it pull up all those codes. My only critique was that did kind of take a little bit of time. Now that we have this cylinder 5 misfire, we'll click on that and see what comes up, what information is available. These are potential components. This is where scan tools seem to be moving, and this one is no exception. it seems to be moving not just from presenting codes to you. It's moving towards giving you information, data surrounding the code. In this case, they're giving us different components that could be at fault here. Crankshaft position sensor, ignition coil and igniter, injector, knock detonation sensor, so a knock sensor. These are like the major players as far as what they're thinking about might be the cause here. It's not letting me. I guess if it's an injector, component qualifiers, number 5. I guess they're asking us to put in that description. Now, what we're going to use is this code assist here to help us. Top reported fix was a spark plug that was replaced. Frequently repaired fix was a timing belt was replaced. So apparently when the timing belt gets old, it might get some slack in it and cause some issues with cam timing or whatever. It might show up as misfire codes. Maybe a tensioner goes bad, hard to say. Also reported fixes, catalytic converter was a reported fix. Crankshaft position sensor or wiring. Engine control module code cleaning procedure, ECM cleaning procedure. Well, that's interesting. Here's one for exhaust valves. Here's one for a mass airflow sensor that they did. So they have information available to you for whatever code that you pull up to help assist you with your diagnosis. In addition to that, they give you location information of things like, let's say, the crankshaft position sensor. Where is that? Left-hand side of engine is what they're telling us. Let's see what kind of diagrams we have with the crankshaft position sensor. And a very simple diagram of what's there. I don't know if I can make this larger by tapping on it. You can pull some stuff up. Here's a repair hotline that we can pull up, or we can direct hit directly from here, or Google. So if we want to do a Google search on this code for this vehicle, all we've got to do from here is press the Google button. And it will automatically put in the vehicle information, the code information, and everything else, and you've got it all available to you here. So this tool does need to be hooked up to the internet. So 2005 Toyota 4Runner, yeah, here's one, engine code P0305. There's somebody who's got a really nice long story about what they had there. Let's go back a couple of times. And this time we'll try the Identifix and see what that can come up with. We'll see if we can exit out of this component thing. All right, let's try and see what Identifix comes up with for the same code. And all of this, I haven't gone under the hood, anything. I've been able to glean all this information just by sitting here in the driver's seat. I've already signed up for my Identifix that I spoke about earlier. You have to sign up for it in order to make this happen. But see, it's already loaded up the information. It already has the PO 305 loaded up in there, and all I have to do from now is just hit search, and it will scan this vehicle and that code, and those two things associated with one another, and it'll comb through their database on direct hit and give me whatever pertinent information there is involving this code. And once you add your login information to Identifix, it's automatically put in whenever you are using the tool, so you don't have to put in your username and password every single time. It's just there and available to you. And down here we see ignition coils, spark plugs. Spark plugs are a common fix. Fuel injectors, there were 2 that were reported there, and each one of these is a case study. So once again, I have a wealth of information just from a small amount of information that I've given the tool. So I've told the tool, look up all the codes. It went and scanned all the codes. It came back and said, okay, you have those codes, we'll try this, we'll try this. It gives me lots of different options. And in addition to that, let's just go back to the home page here. So here's another way of going about it. Another thing we can do is we can go under diagnostic information, and this will tell us all the things that are available to us for this vehicle. So we have a code assist library, direct hit, once again that's Identifix, repair track. They also have a video library, and honestly most of these videos are how to use this tool. So most of these are how to operate the tool. So if you're confused about a certain function, you can always access the help information that way, including tune-up specifications, which I thought was kind of nice. So these are the specifications for the injector resistance. The generator, it tells us it's a 90 amp specification for 30 amp. The timing, it tells us where to set that. The valve specifications, particularly valuable on vehicles that have adjustable valves. The compression, if you want to know what the compression was or is supposed to be that you're looking at, 149 psi for each one of the cylinders with a variant of 14 psi. So you've got a lot of information there for you. Location information, such as where the fuse box is. And this is somewhat limited by the database, but this is always being updated. Go back to diagnostic information, and instead of going to code assist, I can go to direct hit, which takes me back to Identifix, as it did before. I wonder if it's still going to have the same information loaded up for me that it did. Yeah, 2005. No, it does not. Apparently, going through it this way, I would have to manually enter the code. Going through it the other way, going through when the code was already pulled up, it put all the information in for me. If you go through this way, it doesn't do that. So I suppose that this is better for just general information if you're looking for it. And keep in mind, I'm just on engine and transmission right now. I can pull up other systems such as the TPMS. It'll tell you what system you're in over here. So this is like your little dashboard. It tells you what vehicle you're working on. Also tells you what system you're working in. So that's really nice for the layout. The browser really just pulls up what we had before, where we can either go to IATN or TST or Tech Connect, repair information. Once again, we have our Identifix, Mitchell 1, all data, whatever you're a member of, you can pull any one of these up. And also it has OEM manufacturer websites that are already here that you can scroll through and then go directly to their sites. So if I wanted to know some specific Volkswagen information, I could pull that up just by clicking on the icon there. And now I'm on Volkswagen's website to where I can sign up. These are separate from the tool. These are from the manufacturer. These are actual manufacturing websites. So if you're looking for specific diagnostic information from the manufacturer, you have access to it through this tool. And they make it easy for you to find, so you don't have to type things in. So they've made it very easy for you to find information when you're doing these types of things. I'm going to go back to my engine transmission, and I want to look at the data list while it's running. I want to show you that we have that capability also. All right, so now we're back to engine and transmission, maintenance test, diagnostic information. Let's see, diagnostic hub. I'm just going to go straight into data stream. There's also some special tests here. Misfire monitors. Since we're dealing with a misfire, let's select that. Start it up. We can see all of our parameters happening in real time. I do have a complaint about this though, and that is that I can't see a complete list of all the stuff other than what I just did. It brought me a list of all the different parameters that I wanted to look at. But I'd much rather have like a long list and be able to select the different things that I want to see specifically. And then anytime I want to see something else, I have to scroll over like this. And it takes a minute to load those parameters. Here's my engine speed. I mean, it's nice that they sort of compartmentalize things into a misfire monitor, so I can just have all those parameters presented to me. But I like to pick and choose things myself. And maybe I just need to work my way around the tool a little more to understand it better. Okay, so here's my misfire parameters that I pulled up. And I'm able to see on cylinder number 5, it keeps counting the misfires there. So I know I definitely have a misfire in cylinder number 5. Not only because I see it here, but because I know that's the cylinder that I put the fault into. So you're able to see all this information, but as I said, Pulling it up this way was kind of wonky for me anyway. I'm just not used to this type of interface of doing it this way. So if I have DTCs or something like that, I would have to look through and read on the list what I wanted to see before I did it. But what I did to bug this vehicle was I unplugged an injector and to create a misfire, and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for it to basically show me that misfire here and point me in that direction, which it did to some degree. Most common fixes were actually spark plugs, even a timing belt in one particular case. Fuel injector was on there, but it wasn't at the top, so it's not a common fault. Easy to bug, but not a common fault here. Like I said, there are a lot of features. If you want to add more programs, so if you're into the Android store, you can download more apps onto this. As I said, this is an Android tablet. Music, you can put music on there if you wanted to. Your browser's there, your calculator, so if you wanted to do some quick calculations, you have that option. Also, you can set it up with your email program. Here's the SD card if I needed to do something there. Sound recorder I'm a little confused by because I didn't really see any place that had a microphone or anything. And I'm not sure how you would necessarily use that unless you were trying to use it to share diagnostic information perhaps. All right, well I just realized that I never showed you how to clear the codes once you've solved the problem, and in this case, what I ended up doing to bug this vehicle is I unplugged the fuel injector on cylinder number 5, but I've plugged it back in since then, so in essence I've repaired the vehicle, so now where do I go from here? Well, it starts by selecting the system that you're working on. I was bouncing back and forth between the TPMS and the engine, and as you saw over there, I could just select that and it should come up with the different selections for the different systems that are available when it finishes loading content. I can hum the theme to Jeopardy if you'd like. Do 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 do. I almost thought it was going to happen. I almost thought it was responding to the Jeopardy theme, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's stuck in its software limbo at the moment. There we are. Okay, so we select engine transmission, so we make sure we pull that system up. Yes, we have the cable connected. Yes, the key is on and everything. Read DTCs. I had unplugged another sensor as well, trying to get it to come up, so it took me a couple of attempts. This, I believe, will refresh the codes to see if they're still there. And I forgot what that one does. The little... there we go. We can actually store the codes that way, so we can share using that, which we're going to cancel out of that. But this little circle here is how you would clear the codes. Ask me if I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. And it clears the DTCs. No diagnostic trouble codes found. Now we can move on. Now, I could go on and get more specific with it, but as you saw, it does take a while for it to pull things up. So one of my biggest critiques of this is the fact that it does seem a bit slow. But for the price, which will be listed down in the description, for the price, you really get a lot with this tool. So I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of speed in exchange for what I'm getting here. I have a bidirectional scan tool that is connected to the internet. And as far as the software goes, the software is spectacular. It does make things easy for you to find. Another complaint that I would have is how it does the data list. I'd like to have a different option to be able to do that, especially since whenever I scroll through the different items, it seems a bit slow going to the next screen. It would be nice if I could just see numerical values for those different components or different sensors, that I could maybe just click on one and then see a graph. I think the reason why it's slow is because it's showing me graphs all the time. So personally, I'd like to see a list view. But as far as comparable tools, I don't really think there are any at this price range. I mean, for what you're paying for this tool, you're getting quite a bit. So it is a good value in that sense. And if I were to say, you know, who this tool might be suited for, I would say this would be great if you were doing side work, because it's very capable and does many things. Or maybe if you're a used car lot and you maybe go into auction to buy cars and it's got a check engine light and you want to find out stuff about it, you maybe go around with a little mobile internet. You might be able to not only pull up the code, but you might be able to get a pretty good idea of what the problem actually is. And that's what the scan tools seem to be going to these days. It's not just pulling a code and showing you information. They seem to have crossed over into a place to where they're connected to databases and vast amounts of information that help you in those diagnostics. So it's not just here's the code, go find a manual, figure it out. It's here's the code, here are all kinds of connections to different websites or just the internet in general. It does that Google search, as I showed, that you can just pull it up for the code that you have. And I would suggest doing it that way over going through this way where I went and looked it up under diagnostic information. But there really is a wealth of information in this tool above and beyond what you would normally use for, say, pulling check engine light codes. As I said, all systems are available, SRS and all the other kinds of things. This is a very capable tool for this price point, and that's where I would put this. So I'm very happy to have it. I'm going to be using it more in future videos. I look forward to using it and checking out its capabilities more and more as we go. Anyway, I am Eric the Car Guy. If you have automotive questions, I would ask that you go over to EricTheCarGuy.com. There's a welcome video there to tell you about all the wonderful features we have available to you should you have those automotive issues. In addition to that, if you wish to connect with me socially, I can be found on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. Down below there'll be links to the tool, the prices, and all the pertinent information that you might need, so be sure to look for it there. And I close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, and of course, stay dirty. I'll see you next time.